You are listening to the Women's Gut Health Podcast. I'm Molly, integrative functional dietitian, ex-chef, and gut health expert. If you're struggling with constipation, diarrhea, or bloating, I know exactly how you feel because I've had Crohn's disease for almost 30 years. Each week, we'll dive into symptoms, trends, recipes, and navigate the complex landscape of women's health together, all based on scientific evidence, but in a way that makes sense. Ready to understand your body? Good. Let's go. Hello there.
Hello.
Lara, you are the new co-host. So this is our show. It's always been our show, but here we are together.
Doing it. We're doing it.
We're doing it. So I'd love to take this opportunity to learn a little bit more about you and have everybody else learn more about you too. Does that sound good?
Yes, I love that.
Amazing. Okay, so if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about how you got interested in health and where you are in your current kind of journey.
Yeah. It's so funny to think about the journeys, right? They're
Mm.
so long and there's so many pieces from childhood, from your education, from your family experiences. They all kind of contribute to where you ping pong your way through life. But, I feel like my path was just a little bit different and that I didn't necessarily have like a experience that led me to seek out some sort of healing. And then I loved it so much, I decided to learn more about that. I feel like a lot of practitioners kind of have that path, which I think is amazing. Mine was kind of, a little different. I think in general, as a human, I've kind of experienced the gamut of like uh, you know, traumatic turmoil things for like a person in my generation. Like I come from a divorced family. I was divorced myself. I went through some health stuff. I had an extremely acute, terrible low bowel inflammatory thing that just was very inspiring for me to take things into my own hands, having Western medicine just fall short. And then for like 10 years or so, I had really intense mini stroke like migraines that,
Mm.
had me down for days. But throughout all those kind of things that, some people experience and some don't, I always just kind of had the innate kind of motivation in me to like choose things that were healthy for me. I was always very active. I loved being outside. I was always the kid that was like eating my vegetables first on my plate. I was always asking people like, "How are you?" Like I would surprise adults and they'd be like, "Why are you so interested in how I am, small person? Like what is going on here?" And I found that to be kind of motivating learning about that later on when my parents used to tell me like, "You were always so interested in how people were doing. You would sit and list so intently." So
Hmm.
I guess I kind of like always knew I was going to be some sort of helper and found it easy to do that myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in terms of like my, experiences with education, I went up to Alaska, met this awesome healer guy who was feeding his little grandchildren cayenne pepper from a tincture like they were little baby birds, and got to see his, apothecary of tinctures and kombucha and watch him do shihatsu. And I was sold. I was like, whatever this is, I want to do this. So my path led me to acupuncture and Chinese medicine, in which I practiced clinically for 18 years.
Wow.
And what's interesting is throughout that, I took a lot of continuing education in advanced herbology. I did a lot of musculoskeletal stuff. But what kind of made me, how there's always like pivotal experiences that you kind of look back on and you're like, wow, no wonder why I'm doing what I'm doing. Um, I was in my functional nutrition training. I chose to do it here with a local company called the Functional Nutrition Alliance.
Oh,
Andrea Nakayama is just like a beautiful human who I just felt so lucky to be able to study with. And when it was in that, course where we did this extra thing where they were like, write a bangin' bio. and
mm.
and I was like, okay, it was different than any other bio you'd ever written. They like gave us all of these things to think about, like what kind of feelings come up when you think about being a healer, which by the way, I don't love that word. But anyway, holding space, helping people on their path, what comes up for you? And I had realized that there were two things that happened to me when I was a kid. And I'll admit they're a little difficult to talk about because I don't want my parents to feel bad
Mm-hmm.
because they were doing the best they could with the tools they had at the time.
Yep.
But there was two things that happened that were pretty shitty, man. One of them was that my grandfather died, who was like the apple of my eye. He had
Mm.
leukemia. I insisted as a young girl going to all of his treatments with him. My mom was like, you could barely even speak, but you were insistent that you had to be with him, which was so interesting. So he passed away. My family decided to get a divorce, and my dad moved out. And my parents decided to let my brother go with my dad, and I stayed with my mom. So every male figure that I had in my life were just like gone.
Mm.
And I think that looking back, that was the first time I had experienced what it was like to emotionally manifest some pretty intense sickness.
Yeah.
Or I was so emotionally distraught that my body was just tanked and I became a host of all sorts of stuff. I had mono, tonsillitis, pneumonia. I laid in bed for like a month.
Mm.
And the hard part about that was that my mom, I don't know if she was just full of pride and was trying to do it on her own. She says she's sorry all the time. She's like, I don't know why I didn't call grandma, but I was alone. I was
Mm-hmm.
literally alone for the
Mm.
majority of the day, like all day. Like she would come, I mean, she had to work to keep the house going. She was a single mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember at that time thinking, I mean, like a month of basically laying home by myself with like Aspergum and Jello by my bedside because, my throat hurt so bad and I was just in and out of fevers and, well, it was the worst.
Mm.
And I was like, I think I just realized subconsciously that I don't want anybody to like be on their path alone. It doesn't,
Right.
it doesn't suit you. It doesn't suit humans. We're tribal beings and we're community driven and we're meant to be surrounded by people who love us and that can help us and people who've been through it. And so I think I just kind of decided at that time, like, no way. I don't want to be, I want to help people not feel like they're on their path alone. And I think that motivated a lot of the acupuncture part of things. Like I really built a great team around me at my acupuncture practice. We, had have a very unique way that we practice, and where acupuncture and massage are combined together with two different practitioners, and we have a very thorough intake. And yeah, so I think that kind of motivated me to build the type of practice that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and then also when I was younger, this is pre that time. So that was like around when I was like 10 years old. But prior to that, my parents were, I don't know, probably honestly exposed to terrible marketing. When I look back, I'm like, oh my God, this is probably marketing. But we would have like popcorn and Dr. Pepper before bed. And
Mm.
I don't think, I'm positive that they didn't know that Dr. Pepper had caffeine in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they would be so surprised that after they put me to bed, I would just come out and be like, "Hi, what's happening? What are you guys doing? Let's play. What's happening?"
Yeah.
Because I'm like this, what, 4, 5, 6 year old, highly caffeinated. And so, I mean, this part is hard for me to say, but they went through a long time of feeling like I was up because I was choosing to or whatever. And then they ended up buying this, God, this word is hard to say, harness and putting me in this harness in my bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm caffeinated. And I'm like, please don't put me in this. Please don't put me in this harness. And I'm thinking of this little girl not knowing why she's feeling the way she's feeling. She's just enjoying this time with her parents. And the next thing she just can't sleep. And then she's getting in
Mm-hmm.
trouble for it and so on. And, you know, what I think blossomed from that was a way to kind of recognize, parts of me. Like I have a difficult time going to sleep every night. Like I have to have a
Yeah.
real routine to get to bed.
Yep.
Um, and also, you know, I literally pin people down with needles for a living so that they feel amazing. And I
Isn't that
created
interesting?
and I created a coffee enhancing supplement so that the caffeine does not make you feel like a fucking crazy person.
Well, it's the best
How
damn supplement I've ever had.
well, good. Thank you. Good. I'm glad something good came out of all of that, you know?
Mm,
Um, so I don't know. I guess I just kind of wanted to be vulnerable today and share those two. I've never shared those out loud in a place where that would go out into the world, but I feel like it's just something that's worth reflecting. You know, you may not recognize that the experiences that you're having, they're super shitty when you're in them, but they're there for a reason, and they're opportunities for growth and just a, beautiful way for you to gather more information about how you navigate the world and also how you navigate your health. So yeah, so now I'm in this place where I'm closing my clinic at the end of this month, and
mhm.
you can still see me for acupuncture. It'll just be in Portland, and it'll look a little a different. We'll probably just have like little pop-ups probably half a dozen times a month and just see a lot of people. And then I'm moving more towards my selfish health wellness consults, which are, obviously kind of similar to what you do. We're going to hit all of the systems, what's going on in your life. A really nice wellness consult.
Mhm.
Um, and then building up Supercube. I feel like it's my little infant baby that's been sitting right next to me, and I've been trying to find the bottle for like 3 months now. And so I'm ready to plunk that little bottle in its mouth and get it thriving again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, thank you for being vulnerable today.
Yeah.
What an
Yeah.
incredible story, and congratulations on this new chapter.
Thank you. It's scary, but I mean, so relieving. So relieving.
So how long did you have the practice? 18 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I had 2 years of just my own and doing the body work afterwards. And then I moved into a new space with systems that were set up for me to work, for a massage therapist to work alongside me. And we did that for, so out of the 18, so 16 out of the 18 years. And it was
Wow.
wonderful. I mean, honestly, the only reason why I'm moving along is I just feel like to just be very candid with you, after COVID, running a wellness clinic here in Portland, Oregon, where you accept insurance, the margins just tanked. And I'm a
Really?
single, oh, tanked. And you have to see enormous amounts of volume. You have to have multiple clinics, or you just have to be small. And I'm
Right.
a single income earning home, and I just won't move forward in life. And I can't do that anymore. And I've been doing it for a long time. So I feel, when you trade your time for money, it's definitely a different experience than when, you have like a product that's going out, and and I feel extremely comfortable about the efficacy and the formulation of the products and everything. So it feels just as satisfying to know I'm kind of moving into something where I'm still fulfilling my purpose, but allowing that hands-on medicine to be a part of it, but not the main part of it. So I'm kind of flip-flopping it a little bit.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
it feels good. Yeah. It's a little scary, but you know, I don't know. I like having some challenges in front of me, so that feels really good.
Well, and insurance is just such a racket in general. Like, I
Oh
mean,
my God.
obviously very important to have insurance for catastrophic reasons, but at day to day, I mean, for the providers, including physicians, and for the people who have the insurance, I mean, it's just so I don't blame you one bit for wanting to get out of the admin game,
No. I
you
mean,
know?
I could do a 4-hour soapbox about insurance. It's so bad. It's so bad. The only thing I'll say is be gentle with your provider when you're dealing with them, because their job dealing with the insurance company on your behalf of your contract with your insurance company is just as hard as your conversations when you
Mm,
call and have a conversation. So just
I'm
work
sure.
together as a team, and always tip your
Yeah.
wellness providers. Always. Like that's the other thing too, is reimbursements just keep going down and down. And if you want people to be in business, just tip your wellness providers. It's good stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's very good to know.
Hmm.
Very good to know. Well, that's why, unfortunately, you can't do acupuncture remotely, but that's why I'm remote.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
I definitely, there's so much that goes into all of that. So good for you for just knowing what your body needs and knowing when to set those boundaries and how to set those boundaries and following through with that because change is scary.
It really is. It really is. And I found myself sitting in front of my patients and, having those aha moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, I can walk this, I can talk this talk right now, but there's aspects of this that I'm not walking. I need
Mm,
to be able to embody what it is that I'm suggesting that these humans do to get them on a trajectory to health.
mhm,
And in order for me to do that, I needed to feel comfortable in my own shoes, to be able to show up for them authentically and doing something that was really hard, because I loved acupuncture. It was great. I was making a great living and had lots of freedom and so on. But, COVID, and we were downtown, so we were like in what I called fentanyl lane and the
mm,
riots, and downtown will hopefully come back soon, but downtown Portland will hopefully come back soon. But yeah,
wow.
just kind of a recipe of like, hey, Lara, the universe is giving you a lot of different messages. Are you going to pay attention?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's really hard to admit
Hmm.
and to pay attention. So what an
Yeah.
example you're setting, for other people who don't necessarily want to make a hard choice. But I
Yeah.
know that when you follow your heart, always that's where the magic happens, right?
Yes. No matter how hard it is. And you always gotta, you gotta take something off if you want something new to come in. There's only so much space in a
Right.
day's worth of energy.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what an incredible story. We are
Thank you,
so
honey.
lucky to have you here.
Oh, thank you. I hope to share some good insights and things. And
Yeah.
I'll be in the depths with you. I love having those deep conversations and sticking with it to figure out what really is going on. Like the majority of the patients that I have been with me, I mean, since the beginning, since the
Mhm.
very beginning,
Mhm.
like over 15 years, a lot of them, mostly just because they find it such a helpful modality.
Yeah, absolutely. And isn't it unbelievably rewarding to be able to help someone and watch them grow and continue to support them through various stages of their life?
Yes, yes. And also just, for the listeners, when you find someone that is a good fit, like make your life work so that you can continue to have them in it. If that's like affording them or making the time to do it. Because there's nothing better than being able to look back and reflect on if someone can see you from the outside on how you respond to the shit that is inevitably going to come up in life and what your tendencies are and so on, and be able to kind of nudge you in the direction that that will work for them, quite like seeing a therapist regularly or something, right? Like if it's kind of your health therapist, I suppose.
Mhm.
um but that's just such a good approach to have someone kind of on your team, on your side. I think
Mhm.
that's what we're lacking is, everybody knows what it feels like to go to the doctor these days. Like I was just having a wellness, like a discovery call with someone the other day, and the theme that kept coming up is I'm so scared to go to the doctor because they never help, and they always put me on these meds that have so many side effects, like constantly. And
Mhm.
I'm like, gosh, it, it it happens all the time. It happens all the time, and so many people feel that way. So you need an advocate like yourself or myself or somebody.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And at a certain point I like to tell people like what you're doing is not working, right? Or you wouldn't be on the phone. So whoever you're having this call with or whoever is, reaching out to you and connecting, like they're looking for an answer because we it's so hard to find the answer ourselves. I mean, the whole reason I started my practice is because I didn't have any answers when I was looking for them. And
Yes.
it's like even someone who has the experience and the knowledge and whatever that we have, we go through things that we need help with too. And
Yeah.
so that's what you and I know are really hoping that this podcast can be for all the listeners is a
Mm-hmm.
place where ladies or people who identify as ladies or men, of course, can come and really be supported and join in this kind of community where we are talking about real stuff and we're giving you practical solutions and we're giving you some solutions that are a little out there and woo woo to some people. but stuff that we do ourselves, stuff that we believe in, and, with the ultimate goal of helping you to continue to stay curious and be inquisitive and get the results that you need that you're not getting from the channels that you've gone down so far. And explain some of
Yeah.
this confusing landscape that, the internet is great for so many reasons, but it's like so overwhelming for so many reasons. Like, I don't think we're supposed to have this much knowledge at our fingertips about things that we can't disseminate. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
biologically. I think it adds more stress than comfort to a certain degree.
Oh, absolutely. Sorting through the information is so incredibly exhausting. I feel that way, and I feel like I'm smart enough to know what I don't know, and I feel overwhelmed a lot of the time. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is just too much to sort through. I need to have a conversation with somebody."
Right.
And
Or
also
like
like
yeah, go ahead.
also just earning trust.
Mhm.
I feel like that's a big piece for me anyway, is holding a space of integrity and being aware of what I do and don't know, and being able to help people find whatever it is they need to find, whether I can provide it or not. Like,
Right.
and doing no harm. Like,
Right.
I know my limitations, I know what my skills and my strengths are, and just trusting that the universe has put each other with whomever that is, we've been putting in front of each other for a reason. It might just be an actual reason. It might
Mhm.
be a season where we explore something for literally a few months, or it might be a lifetime where we're together all the time. You can kind of look at it as though it's like a relationship in a way, or a friendship of
Yes.
sorts, but
Of sorts.
of sorts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what an honor for me to be able to chat with you every week, and for whoever's listening to be able to chat with you all every week. And of course, if anyone has questions or things that they want us to cover, absolutely you can leave those in the show comments. Now, where can everyone find you, Laura?
Yeah, so we're at Lala's Wellness. I'll keep everyone posted there on where we'll be doing kind of physical medicine, how to contact me for consults, and then that's
Mhm.
also where Supercube will be. So everything is kind of going to come there, and that's supercube.club or Lala's Wellness on Instagram, or Supercube me on Instagram.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm Molly, and you can find me Women's Gut Health on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, etc. Certainly, my stuff that I post is not necessarily related to the podcast, but we just happen to use the name. And even though Laura and I are selling stuff, the purpose of the podcast and socials and all of that is to provide all of the free value. So, you know, whatever we can answer for you and however we can help you at a zero price point is definitely what we want to do, because the more people who feel empowered and have that knowledge, and just understand that there are people who are experts and not everyone is an expert, the
Right.
better it is for certainly everybody's nervous system. So welcome to our little situation, and we'll see you guys next
Yeah,
week.
welcome to the beginning of moving forward with your health in a more fun way.
Yes. Yes, in a more fun way and in an informed way, and also in a way that is safe and supported.
Yes.
So,
Love it.
love it. Okay, next week. Bye. Thank you for being here today. We are Women's Gut Health on YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok. In the show notes, you'll find the recipe share drive, citations to evidence supporting this topic, and fun links we discussed today. See you next week.